This particular book deserves its own launch because it is remarkable, I think, in its own way. When we very reluctantly had to postpone the conference, it felt like it was a hammer blow to Feast, the highlight of our year just gone like that. But fortunately for us, Aryo Zidni and his dynamic team at Ayo Dongyeng, our story partners in Jakarta, they had other ideas. They had a vision to produce an ebook. And more importantly, his team had the determination and the enterprise to go ahead and to make this dream become a reality. So to Aryo and all the team there at Ayo Dongyeng, we say a huge thank you. First of all, Aryo went and recruited Evelyn Ghazali, an gifted and highly experienced and respected book designer, whose work, as you will see, combines great creativity with a commensurate level in terms of the craft and technical expertise. The interaction between text and illustrations is a joy to see on every single double-page spread, and it's what makes this book so different from the two previous books that we've produced. And who created these very vibrant and lively illustrations, the lush forests and the teeming seas in which the characters in this book live? It was the gifted graduates from the Institute Technologi Bandung who are part of KIBA, which is the acronym for the Children's Book Design and Illustration course. We are delighted to have given these graduates another real-world design experience, and we hope that this exposure that this book will hopefully bring them will add another glittering pearl to their CVs. Finally, I want to acknowledge our publisher, Nora Books. We're most grateful for their strong support of this project, not least because of the very short lead time that Feast gave them to create the ebook and to get it online, and it is indeed online as we speak, or rather, as I speak. This unprecedented degree of collaboration is what makes Jiva, Krupa, Sheila, and myself so excited, and indeed, I think it's fair to say, very proud. HISS ROAR SQUEAK is aligned so squarely with two of Feast's key objectives. First, the idea of sharing stories and sharing knowledge. And secondly, in terms of providing a platform for storytellers, in this particular case, not just oral tellers, but also through the visual medium, to help them to grow their talent, their expertise, and of course, their audience. We hope that the success of this book will inspire future collaborations between Feast, our members, and institutions like the ITB and KIBA, who are developing or promoting artists and illustrators. I don't want to push our luck by asking the ITB to commit to working on another collaboration with Feast, but please do know, Dr. Nassaman, that the door will always be open because we are really grateful for your support of this project. So far, I have very deliberately concentrated on the visual backstory of this book. And why did I do that? Because I think we as storytellers, or shall I say in this case, as authors, we tend to think that the word is the most important and that the world revolves around us. But really, I wanted to showcase the wonderful work of our illustrators in making this book come to fruition. But now, yes, it is time for me to pay tribute to the 17 members from 7 different countries who contributed the stories to make up HISS ROAR SQUEAK. Most of them, I think, are actually seeing their work in print for the very first time. We want to thank them and the illustrators for generously allowing Feast to receive the royalties from the book sales. And surely that is another good reason for you wanting to buy copies of this book, because you know that the royalties which we have been collecting from royals wise and otherwise, but this is a different kind of royals, will come to feast and will support the work that we do. I must finally thank our editorial team. You saw her very briefly there, VITHYA and SHALNI DOSHI, who worked so hard along with their team of volunteer proofreaders in order to take these 17 very different authors and their work and to be able to put it into a form that could be published as one book. So could I please ask you, if you have a puppet, okay, with you, if you don't have a puppet or a pet, could we please give all the contributors a very loud and noisy moo, coo, cock-a-doodle-doo, or trumpet of our appreciation. Thank you very much, everybody. An exciting kittens we have. Thank you so much for that. Very good, very good. So, Krupa, I think you have a little video to share with us. Thank you very much for putting that together, Krupa, and introducing our 17 contributing authors. And now who I'd like to join me is our editor, Deepta Vivekanand. Okay, Deepta, I think we can share the screen here for a moment. Good to get you into the spotlight, because editors often get hidden away working in a dusty room. So I know it was quite, I mean, it was a real challenge, wasn't it? We had so many submissions, just first of all, deciding which 17 stories to include. Perhaps you'd just like to share, now that you've, the kind of, because, your work was done some time ago and you sent it off to Indonesia. Now you've had a chance to kind of calm down and think about it. What are your thoughts, memories of the process?
Oh, wow. I was trying to put this all down, and I think it was February 5th of this year when, Sheila's mail calling for submissions for the third Feast anthology had just come in. And I was sitting in an aircraft that was about to take off. And moments before I had to switch to airplane mode, I wrote to Sheila, jumping in to ask if I could first help with editing the book and then contributing a story. And by the time I landed, Sheila had replied in the affirmative. And that's where it all began. So why did you want to be the editor, you ask? Well, to cut a long story short, I've always wanted to be an editor. And, I secretly black out incorrect apostrophes in cafe menu boards. Just let you in on that one. Constantly rephrase sentences in newspapers. I notice errors everywhere. And, to the point where I wonder if my blood group should really be a typo. But yeah, okay, enough of those bad puns now. But, editing the Third Feast anthology has quite literally been a life-changing experience for me, Roger. Apart from just, poring over endless lines of text and dotting the I's and dashing the T's, in some cases rephrasing, portions of the text. It's been an exercise in questioning the idea of perfection, because while as an editor, my aim was to present each of these stories in their best form, free of errors, capitalized, italicized in the right places. When I stepped back from my role and saw these stories as a human being, the dichotomy was only too apparent, because reading and working on each one of these stories has reinforced this much in me, that whether it's the tiger who thinks he's the most fearsome creature, or the deer who thinks he's the fastest, or the monkey who wants it all, their follies and their failings get exposed eventually. And at the end of the day, they're left to reevaluate the notion of being the best or the most perfect. So, and I think these anthropomorphic tales really hold up a mirror to our collective consciousness and make us realize that humans were never really intended to be perfect, I suppose. And I think we all need to remind ourselves that more often, that it's okay, because the animal world isn't flawless. Animals don't care for the characteristics that we human beings or storytellers assign them. Yeah. Their beauty is in their diversity, and each creature is really designed to inhabit and survive in a certain environment, and that's what matters. And I think our lives would be a lot simpler if if we just accepted the natural state of life, which, by the way, happens to be imperfect and diverse. So I guess it's very easy to to delete a portion of a text on a word processor. You can replace it with another, but you can't really hit backspace on the people in your life. You can't have that perfect relationship. You can't have that perfect experience all along. So, and I remember reading in a blog somewhere that the only perfection is in being present, and yet the perfectionist is never present. So I think this book, these 17 stories, to me, it's a tribute to all those animals that give us this lesson in very funny and thought-provoking ways. And I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy telling them, reading them, and telling them in their uniquely special ways. So yeah, so thank you for giving me this opportunity.
I'm going to put you just on the spot, and one story that you particularly found enjoyable or interesting, or it was new to you. Which one of the 17?
So I'd go with the tiger and the dried persimmon. That was, to me, was the most hilarious story. Also I've started looking for persimmons now in the market. There's a big basket of persimmons at home. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. I thought it was hilarious. It was just, yeah, it had me in splits. Yeah.
Excellent. So there's our editor's pick. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Dita, and yeah, giving it that kind of context of what these stories are about, and not just about the animals that are in. Thank you very much. Well, it wouldn't be a feast session, would it, if we didn't have a story? And therefore, it's my great pleasure now to hand this over to Vikram, who's going to tell us a story. And I'm pleased to say, as we're going with awful puns, it's your turn, Vikram.
Thanks, Roger. Important question the mankind needs to know. Am I audible? Am I visible?
Yep, you are.
Beautiful. Okay. A pretext to my story. So this came out as a collaboration and as part of a work with a research scholar and instrumentalist that I worked with to figure out the pot history of this country. I mean, this country, India, has a lot of variety of pots, different ways, and this story came out as that. And where did the story start? So this was a time when we didn't have too many instruments to work with. Technology was not even as we define it today. And this was a time when people used hands to make things. Hands to touch each other. Hands to touch water. Hands to eat our food. Hands for many things today we might not use it. And at one such time lived the most, and you go to any city in the street and many such streets like that, and there lived a potter. And as I say potter, tell me, what is a potter called in your language? Mother tongue, father tongue, any tongue, tell me. And this potter used to make every day his pots. He used to get up in the morning, and you see these are artists, and they live very close to where the source of raw material is. And this potter lived near the place where there used to be a lot of clay, and this potter made his house there. You see a small 1 BHK or /B/ or everything in the same space. And this potter got up in the morning, collected his clay, and came back and used to create his pots. And his pots were made with his hand. It was mixed with water. The water went in, and he used to use his hand to mix it. And they say that at anything that's made by hand, you don't test it by hand, you test it by the smell it gives you. And with the smell, you will know when the pot is ready for baking, when the pot is ready to mix it, when is the pot ready to make the pot. And the potter had a routine life, a meditative life. And this potter led such a life. And every day he used to get up in the morning, make his pot, get the ready pots, go to the market, sell the pots, come back, get ready for the next day, have his food, to sleep. And every day it was the same routine. But over time, felt that his efficiency was increasing little by little. The number of pots that he was making reduced one by one, and he couldn't carry the pots to the market. He couldn't carry the clay back to his wheel, and he couldn't carry as much as he could. You see, all these artisans have 6-packs without even going to a gym, you see, and they had the fittest sometimes. And he was feeling that something was not okay with him, and he felt, and one day he just went over to the riverside. Yes, because rivers are where civilizations evolved and artisans evolved. Today, if you go to many such spaces near the rivers, are they artisans? I really don't know. And on that river, and it went very slowly, and it went, and he went and stood near the river, and the potter stopped. And he looked out into the river, into the water, and very far away, he felt something that he wanted to talk to the goddess of the river. And he, from his deep heart, asked the river goddess, you see, I mean, I've been making so many pots, and over time, I'm not able to make as many as before. What can you do something for me, please? And he went it out because he couldn't keep up with his efficiency. Boom! Came the river goddess. And the river goddess came out and she said, what do you want? That's a very profound question. What do you want? Imagine somebody comes and asks us, what do we want? What would you say? 19 December 2020. And the potter didn't think so much. He said, I didn't ask you for anything. I just wanted someone to carry my weight from I want them to carry the clay. I want them to carry the pot to the market, and that's all I want. I want an animal who could carry my load. And the goddess asked, okay, can you repeat it more? Yeah, I need an animal that could carry my load wherever I go. And she said, come back tomorrow morning and you shall get that animal. And next day morning, and the potter went back home, finished his pot making for the day, went to the market, finished everything. And the next day morning, very nicely, he woke up early in the morning, and potters, and again, artisans, for them sunrise is very different to what we see sunrise. And the potter woke up in the morning and went to the riverbed and prayed to the river goddess, said, you told me, you promised me yesterday you'll give me this special animal which will carry all my load, and today is the day. And he prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. And like any other animated movie, there was smoke, there was dust, and there were many things around, and then came this animal. And this animal, I'm sure you, a big animal. What animal do you think came out? And this animal came out, and he was like, wow, my problem is solved. It was the elephant. And the elephant came out. And the elephant came out, and he said, with this elephant, now my productivity can increase, my load capacity can increase, my time to go to the market and come back will reduce. And he just dreamt everything for that day, and he sat on the elephant. And if you sit on the elephant, sitting on an elephant is very different to watching an elephant. And the art of sitting on an elephant, even the elephant doesn't know, but it's okay. And he went back home that day, made his pots, took to the market, and by this time, the elephant could carry all the pots. So he loaded the elephant with all the pots that he had in his house and took it to the market, and he sold all the pots, and he came back and he wiped his hand and he had his dinner, and you are having your food. Where is my food? What's elephant called in your language? Go on. And the elephant looked, and you see an elephant smile, and the elephant will smile with his trunk, which will sway a little bit, and it will give out not a trumpet. Elephants don't trumpet all the time. They will also hiss. They also roar in a very different, if you listen to elephant sounds. And the elephant in hunger gives a very unique sound, and it gave out the sound of hunger. And he went inside the kitchen, bought everything out, fed the elephant, same roar. Again, he collected everything from the kitchen, gave it to the elephant, same roar. He went to the market, bought everything from his money, came back, fed the elephant, same roar. Whew. They say you can become a pauper by feeding an elephant. And he finished, he thought, he went to sleep, and that's when the elephant again started roaring. And the elephant started roaring, and this time the elephant was roaring because it wanted to sleep, and it entered his house. 1 BHK house, elephant. Sleep gone. And with all the curses on the elephant, the next day morning, he ran to the river goddess and told the river goddess, I don't want this big animal. Just give me an animal which will carry my load. And again, the river goddess said, but you don't want a big animal. What do you want? At least give me a fast animal. That's enough. I don't want a big animal. And again he prayed. Again the goddess went inside, came out, and gave him another fast animal. And this was the horse. And he said, Happa, problem solved. The horse will not eat as much as the elephant. It doesn't need to sleep as big as the elephant. It will not roar and trumpet so much as the elephant. And he went to the house, put the load on the horse, went to the market, sold it little lesser, and came back. And that day he thought my problems are solved. And again this horse, what sound does a horse make? A horse also whines. A whining horse makes a very interesting sound. Listen to it next time. And the horse started whining, because a horse, you see, horses need to run. You can't make a horse walk, right? And the horse started running that night. And the horse started running in and out and in and out and in and out. It started running inside the house, outside the house, so much that, my God, this potter said, this is not an animal I wanted. I can't keep awake till the horse stops running. Again, the next day morning, he woke up and he went back and he surrendered the horse to the river goddess and said, oh, my river goddess, I don't want any of these special animals. And the river goddess said, but you only wanted an animal to carry your load, which, I mean, you said elephant is okay, you accepted the odds. And the potter said, I just want a naive animal. And the river goddess said, you should have told me first, because nobody ever asked for a naive animal. And she said, there is a naive animal, which people don't want, which people laugh at. Children laugh at. Everybody laughs at it. And I've kept it carefully because I've been taking care of it till now. And the potter said, I promise I will take care. And the river goddess said, are you sure? Till I come back, every day I will keep track of you. That animal should not even shed a single drop of tear. And the potter said, yes, what animal are you talking about? And she said, this animal can't run fast. This animal can't lift weight. This animal, nobody will take selfie with this animal. Nobody will even post a picture with this animal. Nobody will even go hug this animal. Are you okay with that? And the potter said, yes, because you see, we are also similar. And the river goddess gave him the most precious animal that she could give anybody. She took out the donkey and she gave it to the potter. And when she gave it to the potter took the donkey, and the donkey didn't cry, donkey didn't laugh, the donkey smiled. Have you seen a donkey smile? And the donkey smiled. And the donkey and the potter from that day became inseparable. Not even the potter. From that day onwards, anybody who works with hand, it could be the craftsman of Rajasthan, it could be the washing people of the Dhobi Ghat, it could be the potters of South India, North India, many parts of the world. This is the oldest animal that man had made friends with, humans have made friends with. Until date, even if there's no car, even if there's no dogs, even if there is no cat as a pet, you will find them together. And next time you meet this animal, hug it and give a kiss. Because nobody ever takes me with this animal, which is there across the world. Potter and the donkey. And to say that this story was compiled by Sangeeta, who's also here. I've invited her. She's a research scholar who compiled it from the potters of Haryana, from the ground. So yeah, it's not a story. It's a story that she heard, and when we worked together, this came from her.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Vikram. And again, just thinking what Deepta was saying, I think in that story, it's wonderful to have a story which celebrates an animal that is often made so much fun of and is at the butt of so many jokes and is often used as a pejorative term to describe someone as a donkey. And there you celebrate its virtues, okay? Gets me thinking of the wonderful poem by G.K. Chesterton. It's a moment when the moon was blood and figs grew up on thorn. Yeah, that's the moment I was born. Thank you very much for that, Vikram. So having heard from one of the authors, Anna's story, I'd now like to introduce you to Evelyn Ghazali, who did the wonderful work of designing the book. So Evelyn, come again, another person who toils away, perhaps not in a dusty back room because you want to keep it clean for all the artwork and everything. But thank you so much for putting in so much of your time and energy and creativity. And what I'd like to know, and I think possibly a lot of people, hopefully too, can you tell us a little bit, how does it work? What is the relationship between you as the designer and the illustrators? Which comes first?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Roger, for the time, and thank you, Fist, for the opportunity. Regarding the process, which came first? Let me think. Certainly the story came first, and that is joy to, I think every designer and illustrator enjoys this process much more than anyone would imagine. Is that to enjoy the story first and then imagine what the illustration would be like. So what happens is I just gave the story to illustrators. Actually, I read the story first and then I discuss it with Riyama from KIBA, and we assign which illustrator could fit which stories. And after that, we leave it to the illustrators and let them imagine what the illustration would be like. And then I would just to design based on their illustration.
Sure. And you gave them some guidelines, I gather, in terms of the pictures that you were looking for?
Yeah, so the guideline is only the size. It's only regarding the size. So it's only one big illustration and probably two small ones.
Two smaller ones, sure. So it helps that you've known most of these illustrators for quite some time.
Yeah, actually I know them from previous book development projects, and I know their style of illustration. And also Riyama helped me a lot because she is the mother of KIBA.
We're going to talk to Dr. Riyama Maslan a little later. So yeah, I think it obviously sounds a very exciting program. We'll find a bit more about that later. So so these are all fairly recent graduates from the program?
Not all of them, but they're pretty young.
Certainly compared to me, they are there, yes.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be quite so enthusiastic about that, Evelyn. Yes, okay, very good. And which story did you? First of all, just as a story, did you? Would you have liked to illustrate yourself if you'd had that task? Which story would you have liked to illustrate?
Oh, you asked probably I would like to illustrate the drummer monkey, or the fox and the tiger and the persimmon. I don't know. Dipta's choice is very nice.
Wow, two votes for tiger and persimmon. I'm going to check that one out again. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And in terms of the now thinking of the marriage between the text and the visual, because as I say, it was just a joy for me as we were looking, and I've only seen it even now in a very low resolution version, how the text and the illustrations complement each other. Which gives you the most satisfaction? If you were to think of one story or one double page spread and you think, oh yes, that's a really good mix of text and illustration.
I couldn't choose which one because all of them are. It keeps me thinking a lot of things because I have to design based on their illustration, and I have to think hard how to put the text. And almost all of the story gave up the same effort. So probably I cannot choose one. All of them actually.
And I understand you want to keep your relationship with these illustrators, otherwise they will probably say, I ain't working with you again, girl.
I am
Well,
curious to hear, because all of the stories are based on the words from the storytellers, right? So I am dying to hear about the story from the drummer monkey, because it sounds like something fun to tell.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that. It is something that we are keen to explore, is perhaps encouraging authors. I hope you're listening. You're hearing it here from Evelyn, that she really would like to hear these stories being told. And so I think this is a project, we just had so much on getting this together to this stage, but I think for 2021, we will be coming back and asking you, because I think it would be a nice bonus if those people who buy the book via the Feast website then would have access to seeing and hearing the authors actually telling the story to complement that. Thanks very much, Evelyn. That's great of you indeed. And as you have so rightly said, we do love having a storyteller to make the words on the page come alive. So we now have a second story for you. And it's my great pleasure, and I'm thinking of a particular song that goes with this character. Here she is, okay? Someone who has never bitten her tongue or held her breath, okay? The woman who put the I in tiger and the I in KIRAN. I mean KIRAN and her story. So over to you, KIRAN, for your lovely story about a tiger. You're muted. You're muted. You're still muted.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and I will go straight into my story. It's a story from Vietnam and also Cambodia. Let me take you to a time when animals and people shared the same language. And there, a young farmer woke up early one morning, got up from his thin mat, and looked out the window and saw the dawn breaking over the forested mountains. He had a lot of work to do that day, and he left quite early, leading his rather docile buffalo to the rice fields. He packed a very hasty breakfast of sticky rice wrapped in banana leaves. And as he let his buffalo graze on the grass before the work of the day was to start, he leaned against a mango tree, having his breakfast. He was not the only one awake, not the only one hungry, because in those mountains, there was a tiger who woke up and stretched his long, all golden body, unblemished, beautiful body. He was hungry too, and he padded down and he spotted the farmer, but he wasn't interested in the farmer. It was the buffalo. Oh, what a tasty meal that buffalo would make. Well, the farmer, he saw the tiger too, and he sprang up. And the tiger came closer, but the tiger was also very curious. And he said, "Brother Buffalo, I have seen you. You have been working for this skinny man with a thin stick, and you obey him. You're much bigger and stronger. You could trample him with your hooves, and you could butt him with your horns. Why is it that you obey him?" The buffalo, he looked here and he looked there, and he looked at the tiger and said, "I have no idea. Why don't you ask?"
the farmer. And the farmer, he hurried. And then he was very worried because his buffalo was his most prized possession. And the tiger talked to the farmer. What is it and how is it that you are able to control this buffalo? I have seen him carrying sacks of rice and working very hard. The quick thinking farmer, he said, I have something special. I have wisdom in order to control him. Wisdom? What is this wisdom? Give me this wisdom. And the farmer said, it is so precious, so precious. I have it at home in a nice carved box. I will go get it. Very well, I will wait here and look after your buffalo. Oh no, you might eat him. And that was exactly what the tiger was thinking. So why don't I tie you to this coconut tree and I'll be right back. Foolish tiger. He agreed and he put his paws up against the trunk of the tree and he allowed the farmer to tie him up. The farmer dashed back and in no time he returned and he put some straw around the base of the coconut tree and he held in his hand a stick with oily rags wrapped around it. And the tiger, he turned back and said, well, have you brought this wisdom yet? Oh, you foolish tiger. Wisdom is inside me, inside here, always. And with that, he lit those oily rags and set that hay, that straw on fire. And soon the flames reached up and the tiger howled in pain and the flames burned the ropes and freed the tiger, and the tiger went roaring away in pain until he found a cool puddle of water and he splashed. And when he got up, he saw in the reflection that his once all golden body was covered in stripes. And to this very day, those stripes have marked the tiger. But that's not the end of my story because Buffalo was laughing so hard that he tripped and fell over a stone. And out came his upper front teeth. And to this day, my friends, Buffalo and all his bovine friends have no upper front teeth. The end.
And serves him right. Yes, thank you so much, Kiran. Okay, someone has earned her stripes a long time ago. Thank you very much for that story. And again, as with so many of the stories in the book, they really do have great values and wisdom to share in the most gentle and entertaining way. So, thank you. We've decided we should take a break and make you do some work. And so, as I said at the beginning, we're going to give you a little 10-question quiz now. All right. I'm going to ask Sheila, hi Sheila, to explain how this works.
This is a quiz of 10 questions, but there is also question 0. And question 0 is, who is that mysterious tiger? Does anybody know who that is?
Yes. Yes.
Jiva!
But only because we can see her name.
No, she's took her name off.
You can't see her
She's
name.
taken her name off. That is Jeev, yeah.
I can recognize her teeth.
And her background.
And her eyes.
I can
Yeah,
recognize
good
that enthusiasm.
it's the teeth that gave you away, Jiva.
You're obviously not a
the
buffalo,
teeth
Jiva.
and the smile.
I'm now very pleased and honored to have with us today from the Institute of Technology in Bandung is Dr. Riyama Mazlan. Dr. Mazlan, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
I
you.
want to reassure you that I am quite happy to call you doctor. Okay, I'm not going to call you kiddo. All right. Thank you for being with us. And perhaps you could tell us a little bit about this KIBA and obviously the very successful program that you are running there. You were introduced as the mother of the program, so please, we look forward to hearing the story.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
I'm sorry, Dr. Matlan, I'm not able to find you. Could you please wave for me? Oh, okay, got you. Sorry about that.
Hello.
Yes,
There
we
you
can
are.
hear you,
Good.
please.
Okay. First, let me introduce myself. I am Riyama Maslan Sihombing, representing KIBA, Children Books and Illustration course from Faculty of Art and Design, Institut Teknologi Bandung. This class has been running for from 2009 as an elective course in visual communication design in ITB, which is attended by students from various majors, such as visual communication design, product design, craft, and also from art. In its 11th year, KIBA has produced a number of professional illustrators, and even some alumni have continued to become lecturers in illustration courses at other campuses, including Diani here. And in addition to working with AYYOUBI and VITHYA, KIBA of ITB has worked together in publishing several books, such as a series of Indonesian fairy tales, books for low vision children, and storybook which was written by 23 children aged 10 to 12 years old from all over Indonesia about this pandemic. KIBA ITB also conducts research related to children's books. And the latest collaboration is HISS, ROAR SQUEAK, where in this book we collaborated with 16 illustrators that we have selected from our best talents. For KIBA, every book project is a challenge, and we got a lot of lessons to improve and to enrich the learning experience for all students and participants of the course. We love creating this illustration. The challenge in this book is that we really have to understand the story and do research according to the culture of each country. In general, audience might see Asia as just one entity. There are indeed similarities among countries, but looking at the culture alone, Asia consists of thousands of ethnics, beliefs, and traditions that differs in each area. So we have to do an extensive research according to the culture of each country, such as the symbols and meanings of each character and object. For example, the mouse in general is a pest, but in Japan is considered a symbol of good luck and prosperity. I myself from KIBA, representing the Faculty of Art and Design ITB, would like to thank AYYOUBI and VITHYA for the opportunity given to the illustrators. Congratulations to VITHYA, AYYOUBI, authors, illustrators, editors, designers, and everyone who contributed in producing this wonderful book. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Mizan. That really is very kind of you, and we're thrilled to have this opportunity to work with you. And really, I hope that it might well be the start of a relationship, if not with FEE, certainly with WAJUPPA, that you carry on and creating books for certainly the Indonesian market. But if this gives us a chance to bring your very gifted alumni to the record, and the recognition outside of Asia, so much the better. You happened to mention Diani there in your, and I wonder, could you just bring Diani in, spotlight her in on the conversation? And the reason, I know it may be a little unfair to pick one out of 16 illustrators, but it that so happens, Diani, you actually illustrated the donkey story that we heard right at the start of this evening. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience? How did you approach creating the illustrations for this story?
I was illustrating VIKRAM's story, Potter Getting Donkey, and the story came from India, and specifically from Haryana state, which I do a small research about that state. Pottery is a part of their culture, and I have to research how the Haryana people dress up daily with its beautiful, very beautiful turban and very, very colorful outfit in very neon shade with white, with bright pink, bright green. And it is very beautiful colors that appears in their daily life and makes me very enjoy illustrating the story. And that was a very interesting experience.
So yes, I know, and I spoke with Evelyn earlier, and she was saying that, again, when she talked with you, Dr. Mizan, it was about matching illustrators, some who are very strong on doing animals, others who liked working on human figures, for example, because there are human characters in the stories, as we heard in both of the examples this evening. So yeah, and for you, Diani, did you manage to read any of the other stories in the book?
I have other favorite. I'm only illustrating a VIKRAM story, but my other favorite is the story about the elephant. The elephant. I always love elephant as an animal, one of my favorite animal. And also the story about the fish in Mekong River is also.
That's one of my favorite stories. Absolutely. Okay. So that's good. I think maybe that's something we could put in the chat. I'd love to hear from the other illustrators if they have a favorite story. It might be, of course, the one they illustrated, or if you've read another, so that we've got our kind of favorite picks. Thank you very much, Diani, and thank you, Dr. Mizan, once again. Okay, and we hope that this book will bring you all much joy and recognition. You surely deserve it. So we want to, as I say, it's not fair for me to just mention Diani alone. And again, we have another wonderful video that Krupa has put together just to showcase the different illustrators. So over to you, Krupa. thank you for that. And I'm just really impressed as I'm looking at the short bios there about the illustrators and some very impressive CVs, but also just delightful to see the number of you who have been inspired by folk tales. I was reading there somebody that grandma loved to tell her stories when she was younger, and that you have also, now that you're getting into telling your own stories, presumably more visually than orally, but that's wonderful that you are kind of carrying on that tradition and using your art to share more stories. So we've now come to the crunch part of the session, because I'm sure that you're dying, having seen, as somebody said, lovely sneak peeks of the illustrations that Krupa worked in so cleverly into that video. How do you get hold of a book? You have, of course, worked out that because the correct answer was not 950,000 rupiah, which would break everybody's bank, 59,000 rupiah, and that's the full price, and we have good news for you on that. So Krupa, over to you.
Can you still see my presentation?
Yes, we can. How do I order the book? The usual price is $560. No, $5.60. I'm so glad you magnified that. Yes. Okay. So there is currently, if you want to order a single book on Google Play at the moment, you can get a 25% discount. So it's only a paltry $4.52 Singapore.
Yep.
Okay. That is a single book, and we will share the link somehow. Krupa, do we?
Okay, I just explain. Please, Raja, explain option number 2.
I will. Okay. So, as I say, that's if you want to get a single book just for yourself. But of course, you're thinking you've got family, friends, fans, nephews, nieces. Christmas is just around the corner, and you possibly want to order more than one copy. And while Google Play has just woken up to the fact that it would be nice to give people a gift option, that only applies if you live in America, Brazil, Argentina, and I don't know, El Salvador or somewhere. It doesn't apply in Asia, which is a real bummer. And moreover, you can only send a gift coupon to somebody who is in the same country as you, which who does that anymore? You know, in these Zoom days, we're all really connected, isn't it? As this particular session is showing that we are very international. So if you would like to make a bulk purchase of ebooks, then you need to come to the Feast website, okay? And you can place your order there, and we will then be making a bulk order purchase of, I don't know, 150, 200 copies. We'll see, depending on how many it is that you are asking for. I have good news for all the contributors, all the authors, and all the illustrators. We will be sending you one free e-copy, ebook each. Okay, so you will have that for yourselves. But of course, as I say, if you wish to have some more, then please use the bulk order on the Feast website, and we will charge that at $4.50 Singapore. All right, go there. We're going to have that available for the coming week. After that, from the 23rd or 24th, Krupa will correct me, it will become an offer that is only available to members. But because you are with us, because we want to open this up to our illustrators and for all of our guests who've taken time to join us now, we are happy to extend this 25% discount to you as well. As we mentioned, we do have quite a number of people who are unable to join us live today, and we'll be sending out the recording of this session to them over the weekend, and we want to give them a couple of days to be able to place their order. So the plan is that if you register by the 23rd, we will hopefully have the codes that we'll be able to buy those, whatever it is, code, voucher, and we will be able to send that out to you on the 24th so that you could then pop it in your Santa sleigh sack and send it to whoever it is that you want to send for Christmas Day, if that is your wish. As I say, Google Play, if you just want one copy. If you use the Feast website, we will be actually getting our copies from
Rakata.
Rakata. Thank you so much. Not Jakarta, but Rakata, which is the online storefront for Nura, our publisher. And then we will give you instructions. I think that they have an app that you will be able to download so that you can then view the ebook inside that app rather than through the Google Play app.
So, okay, there's one question. Can you open it on another device? Yes, you can open it on your browser and read it, but it will not flip like a book on the browser, obviously. You need a reader kind of thing, software to do that. But on your phone and your iPad, it will read like a book. I mean, flip like a book. Print on demand, Roger, do you want to tell them about the print on
Okay. Yes, there is certainly a print on demand. And could you get Evelyn to join me on screen, because she has copy number 00002 right there in her hands. Ario has managed to get his hands on 00001. Which I'm sure 20 years from now will command a huge price at auction. So you can show us the book. You can see there what it looks like. Would you like just to open it up so we could get a sneak preview of like a double page spread, so we could just see that there? Or you're going to have a flick. There we go. Wow, 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 wow. And the price of that, if I remember correctly, it's $237,000, which works out at about $22 Singapore, excluding postage. So we are trying to work on that and to be able to give you an indicative price for what shipping might be for one copy, or let's say 5 copies from Indonesia to certainly to India, to Singapore, perhaps to Europe and America, just so we could give you some idea of what that might be. Okay. Hi, Ario. Wow, I love the backdrop with all the books. You're looking such a learned gentleman there. Can we please give Ario a big round? There is 00001. Okay, the very first edition of, the very first copy. Okay, almost smoking hot, I think. Okay. Yes, so we haven't got those details up on the website as yet. And what we will do is, because the Rakata website is all in Bahasa, Indonesia, we will give you the link to that page with a translation of the page, so that you know what it is that you are filling in and the various, what you need to put in there, so that you are ordering one copy and not 457 or something. Okay, that's your postcode. So yep. So the print on demand should be available very soon. Any other questions? So yes, somebody asked. There is a physical book. It's a print on demand, and of course the original idea, in the days long ago when we thought that we would have a conference, is that we would of course then print on demand a copy for every participant at the conference, and hopefully get them to be like book mules rather than book donkeys, because I'm trying to be respectful to a donkey now, and bring some copies back to their home country, and that would save on international shipping, would make it much more reasonable for people. So that remains an option. We still are undecided about what will happen in 2021. I think we're all praying and hoping that corridors will open up and stay open, and that vaccines will prove to be a way forward, and that it is possible for us to have a real conference and actually see Arya's smile for real, and instead of just on the screen. Okay. But until that time, I'm afraid we have to rely on print on demand. And also, I'm sad to say that there is no bulk discount on a print on demand. It's a fixed price, however many copies you order. So
Somebody has bought the book already online.
wow, there we go.
I just have one thing to add. I know that
Thank you, Krupa.
yeah, it's a lot of links. So as soon as the meeting is over, I will put it up on Facebook, on Instagram, on our website. And I'll also, when we send out the recording, which will be ready this weekend, right, Roger? Along with the recording of this, I will send out all the links so that you can purchase the book and support Feet, the authors, and our lovely illustrators. And tiny note to the illustrators, as you can see, I did some serious social media stalking to get your handles, but they were very interesting. I enjoyed seeing all your illustrations. So I will share this, both the authors' profiles and the illustrators' profiles soon on social media. So do check out all their social media handles. A big shout out to all of you.
Can I just highlight, as what Sheila has spelled out there again in the chat, that the Google Play link is only for one person. It cannot be shared. If you want to give the book to others, then you really need to buy through Feast, okay? Because the code ties to your email, and so somebody else cannot use it, okay? Very good. So I think we're done. It's a wrap. We said 90 minutes, and blow me, there we are on the button. We have done 90 minutes, which is quite extraordinary. So once again, thank you so much to everybody. It really means a lot to us to have you here and celebrating this. It really is a very special occasion. Each year we've seen the quality of the books increase as books. We've really now, I think, jumped into the first division, as it were, with this one, and I don't know where we'll go from here. Dr. Maslin, we should be knocking on your door and saying, help, give us some advice. Big for our fourth book, absolutely. Okay. But thank you, as Krupa just said, to all our authors, to all the illustrators, to the editorial team. It's an awful job to have to go through line by line and so on. To the crazy people, this very exciting tiger that I'm seeing on screen here. Okay.
Excuse me, Roger, but we forgot one really important, diligent, super fast person. She's hiding behind the camera, so I couldn't find her. Shinta, where are you?
Yeah, Shinta, where are you?
Hello.
We can hear you, but we'd like to see you as well.
Yes.
Hi, Shinta. Hi. Thank you so much. It's great. I'm seeing her for the first time. We've been, I don't know how many emails. If I got $1 for each email, I'd be moving house. Absolutely. Thank you so much. We're all very excited by the book, as you can see. And so congratulations to Nora. We're really grateful that you've managed to get it out in such a with such a short lead time, and being very flexible on that. And it's never easy creating a contract bilingually as well, and having to deal with us. It's our first time entering into this kind of agreement, so we were asking all sorts of questions, and we appreciate your patience and your support. So this is good. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very
and
much.
Enjoy the book, and do keep sharing it with people. And the more times, if you say what you like about it, I'm sure that on the page, Krupa, you've created space where people can put their reviews or their comments. Yeah, it'd be really nice to hear what is your favorite story and why.
Let's finish with HISS, ROAR, and SQUEAK, all of us together.
Are we ready?
Ramya says, "Oh, the tiger speaks."
Good.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you all.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Worked on it.
Bye bye.
Bye.